James's blood was being filled with adrenaline as he prepared himself to see a massive bear attacking his group. His hands shook as they held the daggers. All he saw was Maya having tumbled on the ground. "Darn it!" Maya cursed as she attempted to get up but then fell back on her rear. Her hands were holding her left ankle. It didn't take a doctor to understand what had happened. The outcome that had occurred was something highly likely to occur as they ran in the dark, barely able to see ahead of them. He thought back to the rock that he was barely able to avoid tripping. Even if it wasn't the one that he avoided, there was plenty on a game trail scattered randomly. A brief moment of inattentiveness would cause any of them to injure themselves. "I think it's twisted," Maya said as she touched her ankle, wincing from the pain. Moving to where Maya was sitting on the ground, James crouched down. The first thing he noticed was the significant indentation made in the metal top that protected the toes. With his hands, he felt Maya's ankle. Just by how large it had become, he said, "It's already swollen. You're not going to be able to run on his foot." Perfect timing. Adam cursed their luck. Hearing Adam's words, Maya frowned, knowing that her mistake would put their group in greater danger. Even if there wasn't a rock bear somewhere out in the dark, the forest cats was still something that was a threat to them. Maya clenched her fist in frustration at having made such a rookie mistake. Sighing, James said to Adam, "This was always going to be a danger considering the amount of light we have to deal with on top of our fast pace." "What are we going to do?" Peter asked. Kate next to him nodded, concerned not only for Maya, but also for their own safety. Their pace was already questionable in terms of getting away from the dangers in the forest. Still, Maya not being able to even jog was a concern. Maya would only become a burden on them. Seeing how everyone was reacting to Maya's situation, James thought it was perfect as an example of what would happen if they weren't in the simulation. In the real world, where their deaths would be permanent, how everyone acted would be more severe. He wouldn't be surprised if people called for Maya to be left behind while everyone else escaped. As if Maya would be a good sacrifice that could potentially slow down the monsters chasing after them. His bracelet was going crazy as the viewers watched them. A part of him didn't want to check what they were saying, not enjoying the idea that they'd be suggesting that Maya should be left behind. The fact that she'd come back after being eaten could affect people's thoughts on the situation. "Adam, Peter, and Kate, the three of you should continue heading to the city," James said in a quiet voice. "James, you can't be serious," Maya yelled at him, her eyes wide in fear. "Maya's right. What are you thinking?" Adam demanded. "In the worst case, Maya..." He stopped himself from stating what everyone was thinking. "Adam, I understand what you're thinking, but I'm not going to leave behind Maya." James turned his head to look at Adam. He tried to keep his emotions under control, knowing that there was no point in getting angry. Seeing how serious James was about not leaving behind Maya, Adam sighed.